Hi TJPF. My name is Shruti Bedekar, and today I'm going to be giving an introduction to public forum. What is public forum debate? Public forum is a two-on-two team debate format. Public forum debates current and real-world policy issues. It's designed for public understanding, which means if you take your siblings, your parents, or any random person off of the street, they should be able to understand every single thing that you're talking about. Public forum focuses on clarity, logic, and persuasion. It's purely technical debate. There's no jargon or extra fluff in public forum. It's very straightforward. So, what do you argue in public forum debate? So, there's something called the topic. NSDA releases a topic. From September to December, there's one topic every 2 months. So, like September and October have one. November and December each have one. However, starting from January onwards, there's usually one topic per month. For public forum, this topic is called the resolution, and we argue if we should affirm or negate the resolution. Public forum debaters can't propose their own resolution. That's a policy thing. So, throughout this presentation, I'm going to use the April topic from 2025, which is resolved. The United States federal government should substantially increase its investment in domestic nuclear energy. So, let's break this down. Resolved, that's the keyword for resolution. The United States, that means it's only talking about the United States federal government, which is the national level government, should substantially. Substantially is a big keyword in public forum topics. Substantially means that whatever side you're choosing has enough impact to be felt by the general population. It's substantial. So if you're affirming the resolution by increasing investment in domestic nuclear energy, there's a substantial impact. Increase its investment. So this can be up to your interpretation. Okay. So the affirmative side, which when you're saying we should invest in domestic nuclear energy, you're basically saying this can be anything from supporting bills, supporting legislature, putting investment towards something, or it's really up to your interpretation. However, the negative side, the negation, is choosing to stick with what we currently have. It's the status quo. It doesn't get rid of anything, but it doesn't affirm the resolution. That's really, really key in public forum, is how you interpret the resolution. Okay, so once you're given a topic, you and your partner usually have to do a topic analysis. So, what is a topic analysis? A topic analysis is when you break down what's happening in the topic. So, let's look at the nuclear example again. What my partner and I do is we usually go on YouTube and search up something called a topic analysis. Usually, Debate Track has really good ones. Other times, other high school teachers do it for you, debate coaches. You can find a lot of resources. In addition, if you don't like video format, TJPF usually always provides a brief. And a brief is basically a huge, like 300-page document breaking down the entire topic. So, first you want to do background research. What is this topic? What's it about? So over here we always write the resolution on the top, we make a doc and share it with each other. So, what is nuclear energy? We found out it's done by fission in the status quo, which is status quo means what's currently happening. It's done by fission. We have to note the history because a lot of times historical context is really important. So, 3 Mile Island, that's a big accident that occurred. That could be potentially used in both sides. Past accidents have occurred. Again, that could be used by the neg side. Environment, like currently under the Trump administration, environment isn't really a big concern to him. So you have to note what's happening currently with the current administration. And right now, US is losing the nuclear race against China. Again, that's just some background information before all of this. Then you'd want to try to find arguments for both sides. So, what's happening in AF? So, some possible arguments, this is what we listed, is um, investment in nuclear energy can reduce carbon emissions. It's more efficient than solar energy, more efficient than wind turbines, more efficient than hydropower. It creates stable jobs and it increases GDP. And there's a bunch of other things, like it reduces reliance on foreign energy, or it has medical isotope implications. But we decided the highlighted ones were the big ones, and we decided to focus on that. The most common arguments are called stock arguments. So usually people go with those, but if you want to win higher level rounds, you usually go with more niche arguments. And same thing with neg. We found that there's a lot of dangers when it happens. For example, Fukushima or Chernobyl, right? And there, we also found that it could possibly harm the environment, which there's direct clash with the affirmative. Okay, so a key thing with public forum is that it's a two-person thing, which means you share the load. Okay, so let's talk about the partnership. You and your partner have a really good chemistry. I have made really good friends with my partners, and we know almost everything about each other. So, having a good partner can really improve your debating skills. So, let's go over the two different roles. So, first, you have first speaker. The first speaker gives the constructive speech, which is your pre-written case. You've already written it. You should be eloquent and you should really like hammer down those points in the speech. It's a 4-minute speech, but we'll go over that later. The first speaker should be really organized and confident in their like debating ability and in general like their overall public speaking, because the first speaker sets the ground. They establish all your arguments, and they really have to be organized, coherent, and cohesive with their arguments. I'm first speaker, so I have a slight bias towards first speakers, but first speakers have a really important job. They're always the first people to start off the debate round. It can really impact how your round progresses. The second speaker, on the other hand, is very like quick with their thinking. They should be like on their toes at all times. They should be able to think on the spot like that. They give the rebuttals, and they're often the ones answering quick crossfire questions. They have to write most of their speeches on site, like at the time, while first speaker has pre-written speeches. So you really need a good duo. Like if you're a good duo, you're gonna have a solid team. All right, let's move on to the format of public forum. So let's look at this. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but on my side you can. So first, the affirmative usually starts in WACFL. However, in other tournaments like VHSL or like Harvard, they flip a coin to see who goes first. Okay, so first, the affirmative goes typically, but depends again. It's a 4-minute speech called the constructive. That's where you're laying your arguments. First, one side goes. You hear their entire argument. And while you're doing this, you should flow and flow and flow. Flowing is when you're taking notes on their points. It's the most important thing because you're going to refer back to your notes for future rounds. Then you have the other side that goes and gives their speech. Again, 4 minutes. One side goes 4 minutes, no interruption. Other side goes 4 minutes, no interruption. Then that's the first speaker. They're the ones talking. Then those same first speakers who just spoke crossfire. So it goes question. One person asks a question, the other person answers, and there's usually a back and forth. After that, the two second speakers talk. First, the second speaker talks, meaning on the affirmative side, the second speaker will talk. They will give rebuttals against what the other side has said. This is also a 4-minute speech. This is usually what my partner and I do is we have pre-written rebuttals that we just copy paste while the other person is speaking. So you're going to be giving like your arguments against the team during this time uninterrupted again. Both sides go. Then after that, the two second speakers, they cross each other back and forth questioning. During this, the first speaker should be actively taking notes. Then after the crossfire, you have the summary. This is the first speaker's job. This basically is the turning point of the round. This can really influence how the outcome of the round is. So, what you do in summary is you basically give an overview of everything, what has happened so far, and you have to weigh. So, we'll go over weighing later. That's like irrelevant. This is just an overview. After summary, both go uninterrupted again. After summary is something called the grand crossfire. This is my favorite part of the round. That's when all four speakers go back and forth, question, answer, question, answer. And there's a lot of talking over, there's a lot of arguments, things get heated. I remember one time in one round, one person stood up and like knocked over a chair. It's my favorite part of the round. After the grand crossfire, you have the final focus. This is the second speaker's job. Final focus is you're telling the judge what to focus on, what arguments are we making, which arguments are we focusing on. This is the last speech of the round and can make the most difference in what the judge chooses. Case building. So again, constructive, when you're making your constructive, claim, warrant, impact. What's your claim? You usually have 2 to 3 different arguments. What's your claim? Why does it matter? Impact. How many people is it going to impact? Again, flowing, you're going to have to write down everything that's happening in every single round. Rebuttal, we've talked about this. It's the arguments against that. That's the second speaker's job. Crossfire, back and forth. You guys are going to have to be on your toes all times. Summary is the most important round. Again, first speaker covers it. It's a recap of everything. Final focus is wrapping it up. Constructive. When you're writing your constructive, you state your side, give some background, give your contention one, and cut cards. So what cutting cards is, you search up on Google or any scholarly source, find exactly what you want to say, exactly your evidence. And in public forum, you don't paraphrase. You just copy paste exactly what you want to say, put it in, and highlight the important parts, like over here. You don't put everything, you just highlight the important parts. You always leave one line above your selected text and one line below. Then you weigh. Weighing is like magnitude, probability, etc. Okay, rebuttal, again, you listen to your opponent's speech, jot down what their points are, pre-write arguments. Like over here, my partner and I made entire documents of any possible arguments that could be made. And we just, during the round, we listen to what their arguments are, we click on that tab and copy paste into a separate document the different arguments we're going to be making against them. Summary and final focus, here are some examples. This part is really messy and it's not as organized as your summary and your rebuttal, or as your constructive and your rebuttal. It's very spontaneous and we always write it in the middle of the round. You can't really like pre-write it. This part, it just comes with practice. You just keep practicing, You can't really pre-write these again. And the point of these two speeches is to collapse and boil down to one or two main arguments. So you have your constructive saying all your arguments, but the summary really brings it down to what the focus of this debate has been overall. So you can't pre-write it. It just has to be what's happening so far. And you have to weigh, and weigh. This is the most important part. Why does it matter? How many people does it matter? Why should the judge vote for you? That's the main part of summary. Overall tips, judges love when you speak slowly and clearly, especially in WACFL, which is Washington Arlington Catholic Forensics League. That's the one we usually do. You have to read your judge's paradigm. On Tab Room, it'll give what the judges are looking for usually. Always read that, and then you can alter your style of debate based on that. It's okay to pause and think for 2 seconds before saying something stupid in Crossfire. Things get so heated, you get overwhelmed. Sometimes what people do is they get overwhelmed, say something really stupid in the middle of the round. For example, one time the person I was going against said that the world is going to explode in 10 years. Obviously, that's not true, right? So you don't want to say something like that and have it be used against you. So it's okay to pause and think for 2 seconds. You would rather have elegant and neat arguments than messy and like wrong arguments. You never propose policy, meaning you can never say, oh, we want the government to do this. No, you're only talking about the benefits of what the government is currently or will be doing. Never propose anything. You don't bring up new information once it gets past the second speaker crossfire, meaning in summary, grand cross, and final focus, you can't bring up new statistics. You can only use what's already been said. Don't do critics. Critics are a different type of thing. That's a policy thing. Again, if you're watching this for the first time, don't worry about it. In any novice debate, you're not going to get any critics or theory. Again, PF, remember, it's a layman's debate. Anyone off the street should be able to understand everything you're saying. Keep it simple, keep it concise, keep it neat, and have fun when doing it. PF is really, really fun. Happy debating, and hopefully you have lots of fun and good luck to you in your debate journey.